Hi there, I'm Dina. I just wanted to say thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this kind of content, please consider giving me a like and a subscribe. And also comment. Let me know what you think of my recipes. This week, I am sharing with you 3 of my favorite vegan Mexican meals. I love, love, love Mexican food. I would live on guacamole and chips and salsa if I could, but that wouldn't be very healthy. So these are 3 of my go-to healthy meals that I make quite frequently, and even non-vegans love these meals. So the first one I'm going to start with is a potato taco. Now, if you've ever looked at the vegetarian menu at most Mexican restaurants, they'll have a version of a potato taco or a potato burrito or quesadilla, something potato based. These are a little bit kicked up a notch. They're a little bit healthier because, like I know, the ones you get at the Mexican restaurant, they're not going to be that good for you. It's probably fried potatoes and maybe even fried on the grill with all of the animal fat and all the stuff that you really don't want. So let's get into making these potato tacos first. And the first thing we're going to do is we are going to make a pico, because you just can't have a Mexican dinner without some pico de gallo. Can you? I don't think you can. You have to have it. This pico de gallo is so easy. It's just 3 Roma tomatoes, 2 jalapenos, and 1 small red onion, cilantro, and lime. And I will link the video for it in the description below. For our potato filling, I have a cookie sheet. We're going to bake this on a sheet pan in the oven, and I have just lightly sprayed this with some avocado oil. And I have chopped up 2 russet potatoes. You can use any kind of potato. This is just what I meal prep this week. And I like to pre-cook these potatoes. I have them ready to go in the fridge at all times. They make great air fryer fries, or my husband likes to put them in his morning breakfast hash. So this is about 3 cups of par-cooked potatoes. You could certainly start from raw. You would just need to cook them a little bit longer. So we're just going to throw those into a big bowl. And I have 1 can of white hominy. That's going in. And I have some pre-chopped cauliflower. It's great for a taco filling. I have about half a bag here. I used the other half a bag in a rice dish the other night. So we'll go in with that. And this makes a lot of filling. If you have some left over for your tacos, you can use it in a breakfast hash, or you can make it in a burrito, add some beans. It's great for that. So for seasoning, you could just make it really easy on yourself. And if you see something roll by the window there, that's Tony out there on the excavator still working on our backyard project. Everything around here is a project. Life's a project. You just kind of have to roll with it around here. So for spices, I have garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, mushroom powder, cumin, smoked paprika, and hot Mexican chili powder. I also have some salt and pepper, and I have about a half teaspoon each of these. And like I said, you can certainly just use a pre-made taco seasoning, but I like mine to be a little bit heavier on the chili powder and cumin, and a little bit less on the salt than the packaged stuff. So, but that's up to you. So we'll just give this a toss. Make sure everything is nice and well seasoned. Oh, it already smells good. And when you have your potatoes pre-cooked like this and you toss them up, it kind of breaks them up around the edges and makes them super crispy in the oven. It's a good technique if you're just wanting some really good oven roasted potatoes. Okay, these look good, so we'll just go onto the sheet pan, spread them out in an even layer, and I'll put this in the oven at 425 for probably about 20 minutes. I'll check on them after about 10 minutes, and I'll probably stir them around a couple of times just to make sure that they get nice and evenly crispy. While my potatoes are in the oven, I'm going to make a quick cheese sauce. When I first went vegan, 2019, I was vegetarian before that, but when I went completely vegan 2019, I think one of the last things I gave up, like most people, was dairy, it was cheese. But over the last few years, I have perfected making cheese sauces. And I am going to tell you, they're so delicious. I don't miss dairy anymore. In fact, I don't even like the smell of it anymore. I prefer my vegan cheeses now. Your body changes, your microbiome changes, and you start to crave different foods and things you thought you would never give up or could never give up. Once you have gone plant based for a while, you'll see your body will change and your cravings will completely change. So, this is just an easy cheese sauce. I have about 2 tablespoons of soaked cashews, 1 clove of garlic, and 1 cooked carrot. You can double or triple this recipe. This recipe is also great for nachos or anywhere you would use like a queso sauce. I also have a little bit of already cooked white rice. You could use cannellini beans, or um, I've seen people use like another potato, but I had some cooked rice already on hand, so I'm just going to go in with a little bit of that, little bit of rice, and a few of these pickled jalapenos. And we'll see whether we need to add any water to this. Um, it just depends on how much water is in your other ingredients, but I am going to add some of the brine from the pickled jalapenos because we really want that flavor in there. And I'll also be adding a little bit of nutritional yeast, which is totally optional. Some people love it, some people don't. It gives like a nutty kind of flavor to the cheese sauce. Some people say it gives it the cheesy flavor. I don't think it tastes anything like dairy cheese, but it does give it a good flavor. So I'm just going to put that in my little mini bullet blender. And this thing is great. I've had this thing quite a while. And this little mini blender is perfect for sauces and salad dressings and that type of thing. So I'll just blend this up, and I'll see whether or not I need to add a little bit more liquid. I did end up adding just a little bit of water, probably about 2 tablespoons, and a pinch of salt. Oh my goodness, look how creamy this looks. I'm telling you, stop buying that store-bought stuff. Um, First of all, the store-bought cheeses, this is just my opinion, they're overpriced and most of them are not very good. I promise you, if you give this one a try, you will not go back to buying the store-bought stuff. This one is so creamy and delicious, and it's better for you. So that's ready. Our pico is ready. Our potatoes are almost ready. Our taco shells are ready. I think I'll cut my avocado up and we'll be ready to eat. Okay, let's see about our avocado. Let's see if we have a good one today or not. It's kind of hit or miss here where I buy them. So let's see. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. I think it might be just a tad bit underripe, but we'll see. Oh, it's good. It's very good. Awesome. I'll just hit that with a little bit of lime. I'll put some lime on the plate there. And we'll just turn him over in the lime juice and save him for Tony. And I'll eat this one. Time to build some tacos. This smells amazing. I'm sure it's going to be good. Our potatoes and hominy are nice and crispy. Oh, this is going to be so good. Potatoes and hominy, by the way, are just a great combo. So let me get building these. And also, I was going to say, I have sprouts here to put on my taco instead of just plain lettuce. Traditionally, tacos, you might have a little bit of lettuce and radish. Well, the sprouts, these are broccoli sprouts, and they have a little bit of a radishy flavor when they're fresh like this. And I sprout these myself, so they're super, super fresh. Also, tons of nutrients, lots of protein in sprouts. Very good for you. So here's my little makeshift taco shell. And we'll just go in with a big scoop of our taco filling. And I'll go in with some pico. Should have put the cheese sauce first. Let's put some cheese sauce. Oh, this is going to be so good. I might need more than 2 of these, that's for sure. And we'll put a little bit of avocado. Stuff him in there. Lost my little kitchen towel there. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit more pico. And some sprouts. Oh yeah, this is going to be so super yummy, super, super yummy. The next recipe I want to share is this awesome corn salad. This is a summer staple. Today I'm just making enough for my husband and I, but you can double or even triple this recipe. This recipe is a big hit with non-vegans as well as plant-based people. This is a great summer staple to take to family get-togethers or barbecues. You can bring it in a cooler and keep it warm, or you can serve it like room temperature. It's great either way. Anyway, it is a poblano and corn chowder, and it is so good. So what we'll do first is we're going to roast our chilies. I have 3 poblanos. I'll probably only use one of these larger ones tonight, but I'm going to go ahead and roast them all to have them on hand in the refrigerator. So what you want to do when you roast your chilies is you want to go ahead and put them directly on the hot burner or open fire, and you want them to get black. So I have my poblanos and I have 1 jalapeno. And this was from the same batch as the other recipe, so I don't think that jalapeno is going to be very hot. If you wanted it a little bit hotter, you could always put a serrano chili in. They're usually a little bit spicier. But the poblanos usually aren't spicy. Every once in a while, you might get one that has a little bit of heat, but it's not very common. They're usually pretty mild to medium heat. They're not usually hot. But they have such a good, unique flavor, especially when you roast them. So we'll start by roasting these, and while those are roasting, I'm going to get my aromatic veggies in the skillet to saute. So I just have 1 clove of garlic chopped, about a 1/4 cup of onion chopped, and I have the stems of the cilantro that I'll be using to garnish the soup. And I'm just going to saute these down, and this is a veggie bouillon cube. We'll use that in a minute. I'm just going to saute these down with a little bit of water till they're nice and soft while our peppers roast. Okay, so our veggies have cooked down till they're soft and our chilies are nice and roasted. This is what you're looking for when you toast the poblanos and the jalapeno. You want them to be black and blistered all the way around. Let me tell you, it smells amazing in here. So you just want to set these aside in a covered container or a plastic bag and seal them up to steam. And when they steam, the skins will easily peel off. So I just have this little kiwi container from the produce section, and that will work till they're cool enough to handle. We'll just let them hang out there while we put the rest of our soup ingredients in the pot. So what I have here is just, for this recipe, about 2½ cups of frozen corn. You can let it thaw out a little bit. This has been hanging out just a few minutes. And I have a couple of my meal prep potatoes. These are pre-cooked potatoes that I meal prep earlier in the week to have on hand for different kinds of recipes. So this is about 2 small to medium potatoes. Tony said he's real hungry, so this is going to be a big pot of soup. And like I said, you could double or triple this recipe easily if you're feeding a family or taking it to a get-together. And I'm just going to go in with my bouillon cube, a little bit of salt, and some fresh cracked pepper. I like a lot of black pepper. And some water. And depending on whether or not you're using raw potatoes, if you're using already cooked potatoes, you'll add a little bit more water. If your potatoes, you're starting from raw and put them in here, they'll need to cook longer, but they'll also release a little bit more water into the soup. So you'll need a little bit less water if you're using fresh corn and raw potatoes. So this needs a little bit more water, probably needs about 2 cups total, and then we'll add our plant milk. I have cashew milk unsweetened, but unsweetened oat milk or soy milk would also be good choices here because they're nice and creamy. While my corn and potatoes come to a boil over here, I want to show you real quick what I do with these peppers. And I think I'm going to go with this large pepper here for this 1 pot of soup. If you're, just use your judgment. They're usually not this big, so normally I would do 2 small ones for this, and if I doubled the recipe, I would do 4. But this is a really large one, so I'm just going to go with this one. And like I said, just wait till they're cool enough to touch, and you just want to gently kind of scrape the black skin off. Now, I know some people will tell you to rinse them in the sink. Don't do that. You're washing away all the flavor. So you just want to scrape the blackness off. You can also take and rub the pepper between paper towels or on a towel. That just makes a big mess to me. And I don't even buy paper towels regularly anymore. I use linen towels in the kitchen, reusable, reduce, reuse, recycle, you know. So I don't even have any paper towels in the house right now. But this is the method that I use, and I find it works really well. So just want to get the blackness mostly scraped off. You don't have to get 100%, of it off of there, but just get most of it scraped off, just like that. And after you handle these peppers, if you are not wearing gloves, you'll want to thoroughly wash your hands. Like I said, they're not very spicy, but depending on how sensitive your skin is, it can, get kind of painful on the hands if you don't wash them. And also, as much as we touch our faces or itch our eyeballs or touch somebody else, you can really hurt yourself or somebody if it happens to be a spicy pepper, trust me. So after I've peeled the black skin off, I'll just dice both of these pretty fine and throw them in our soup. Our soup is bubbling away over here. It already smells amazing. So what I want to do now is add the creamy element to make this a chowder. I'm going to do that before I add our chopped peppers in. You could do this now and blend it all up together. It just makes the soup green, and to some people that's unappealing. I don't mind it, but it just looks a little bit prettier if you leave it with the different colors in there. So in here I have about 1 ounce of cold tofu. You could use white beans here, or you could just thicken the soup with like a cornstarch or a flour slurry. But I like to add a little bit of protein in, and once this blends up with the plant milk and a little bit of the corn, it'll make it super creamy. So I'm just adding a little bit of the soup into here. Now, the reason why I mentioned that the tofu is cold is because you never want to try to blend a hot liquid in your blender. So the tofu's cold and the milk is pretty cold. So we want to cool this mixture down a little bit. And I'm gonna go ahead and add the rest of my milk in there before I blend this up. And if it still feels really hot, don't try to blend it. Put an ice cube in, or let it cool a little bit longer before you try to blend it. I just gave this a taste, and I think we could use just a little bit more salt. So I'm just going to put a little bit more salt in there. And I'm going in now with all of my peppers. Oh, all of them. And my creamy mixture. Oh, this is gonna be so good. This makes the soup so rich and creamy and satisfying. It's everything you want in a chowder. So we'll just heat this through with the peppers in there. You could eat it now, just warm, but I like to give the peppers a little bit of time in the soup to let them kind of hang out and impart their flavor into that broth. So I'm gonna let this sit on low for probably about 15 to 20 minutes. And actually, the longer you let it sit on low, the better. But don't bring it back to a boil. You don't want to boil away your potatoes. So just kind of let it chill and hang out. And I will chop up my avocado and my toppings to go on top of my soup. While my soup finished up, I just toasted up a couple of corn tortillas in the air fryer. You could use your favorite tortilla chips here or crackers. And I'm just going to serve myself up a nice big bowl of this, and it is so good. I tasted it. Tony tasted it. It is so good. It is definitely a favorite. So I'm just going to top this with a little avocado, some fresh cilantro, and some green onion. And that is dinner. And I cannot wait to try it. This is so rich and creamy. You would never think that there's no dairy in here. It's a healthy go-to meal. Everybody loves it. I haven't met anybody yet who doesn't like it. I definitely hope you will give this one a try. I am so excited about tonight's recipe. This is one of my favorite classic Mexican dishes, and it is chili rellenos. Now, usually these are made by stuffing your pepper, usually a poblano, with meat and dairy, coating it in eggs and flour, and deep frying it. We're not going to do any of that, but it's still going to be delicious. So what I have to put in my peppers, and these are the two leftover peppers from the other recipe, from the corn chowder. They have just been roasted and cleaned, and I've cut a slit down the middle of each and removed the seeds. So these are ready to go. And what we'll be filling them with is I'm going to season up some black beans. Now you can just use a can of black beans. These I have cooked on the stovetop with just salt and black pepper, so I can season them for whatever dish that I make during the week. I like to have these meal prepped. I love black beans. So we're just going to stuff them with some mashed black beans I'm going to season. And I have some spicy vegan cream cheese, which I will link the recipe to. It's so delicious. It's great for quesadillas, nachos, chilaquiles, whatever you want to make. It is awesome. So we're going to fill them with those, and we're going to coat them in this mixture. This is a mixture, pretty simple. It's just instant potato flakes and corn flour. You can also do masa, but I I think the texture of this is going to come out a little bit like crispier, being that we're not going to fry them. We're going to bake them in the oven. So this coating, and I have just seasoned this with salt and paprika, and that's it. Because we have so many other flavors going on, we don't need like a whole ton of seasonings in the breading also. So I think this is going to work out well, and this coating works for um, all kinds of air fried or oven fried dishes. So to start, I'm going to add into my black beans garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, and cumin. And they're pretty well salted when I cook them, so I don't need to add any more salt. And I'll just mash these up real quick, and then we'll put this all together. It should only take just a few minutes. And I am so excited to eat this. I am hungry today, y'all. I worked hard outside. Okay, that was done really quick, and we have our beans all mashed up. And one thing I did want to say about taking the seeds out of the poblanos is you do want to make sure that you get most of the seeds. Larger peppers like poblanos and bell peppers, you really don't want to try to eat those seeds. Serranos and smaller peppers like that are usually fine. But larger peppers like these, the seeds are really hard to digest. So you really don't want to try to eat those. So you'll probably end up with a tummy ache. So you want to try to get most of those out. Okay, and just gonna stuff our beans in there. We have one little pepper and one big pepper. One pepper for Mama and one pepper for Papa. If I decide to share. I think I'll be sharing. Mr. Reyes is being patient enough for me to film this before he gets to eat dinner, so I think I'll share this one with him. He usually eats. He's not vegan, I may have mentioned already, but he'll usually try whatever I'm making. He'll at least, I've got to give him credit, he will at least try most of anything that I make. Okay, and we're going to go in with our cream cheese mixture. I'm going to put a big dollop of that in each one. Oh, get in there. And it's okay if it gets a little bit messy. It's going to be kind of messy to deal with anyway. Put a little bit more in this one. Get them good and stuffed up. Okay. And that looks good. And since we're not deep frying these, you don't need to put a toothpick or anything like that in there. That cheese will hold them together pretty well. Okay, so yeah, super easy. We've already had that done, and I have our coating mixture here. Just making sure it's mixed up really well. And another tip, when you're cooking with whole peppers, leave the tail on. It makes them super easy to handle. So I am just going to, sorry, that was probably loud. Hit these with a little bit of olive oil spray. Just a little bit so that our coating will stick to the pepper. And then onto a parchment lined cookie tray. Now I'm just going to repeat with this one, just a light spray. And for the breading, like I said, you could use masa, you could use flour, you could even probably whip up aquafaba like a egg white that is more traditional and use that. You could do a beer batter, would be delicious. Use your imagination. But this was what I had, and it's super easy. And like I said, this makes a good breading for all kinds of stuff. So these are just going to go into the oven at 425 for about 12 to 15 minutes until they get nice and golden brown. I'm going to hit them with just a little bit more cooking spray. This cooking spray is kind of violent. I don't know about this one. But we'll see what they look like when they get out. Our peppers are done, and let me tell you, they smell absolutely amazing. Oh, I'm going to plate that one up. And let's see. Oh, it looks so good. And I just am serving this with a plate of my Mexican rice, which I will also link the video to this recipe. It's so good, and I just use my leftover pico de gallo to make this, and it turns out perfect every time. It's super easy, and I'm sure you'll love it. Vegans and non-vegans alike love this rice recipe, so I'll make sure to link it for you. Let's give this a try. Oh, it's nice and gooey. And the coating is crispy. It's really hot though, y'all. It's really, really hot. That coating works really well. This is so good. I do hope you'll try it. Let me know in the comments what you think. And thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Bye.